once the song starts, I realize how it's right. True, it takes me a little while to recognize the song in its new form. Through the orchestra's larger range of instruments, it's been given a greater volume, a fuller body. With all its new layers and additions, it's been transformed far beyond its original incarnation. But once the oboe soars in with the melody, I know it instantly. How could I not? This is the same melody I wrote for my guitar all those years ago. This is my old song, being played by my new orchestra. I can't believe you guys. You really did all this for me. The song is not perfect, of course. How could it be, given that the orchestra probably only had a few weeks to arrange and practice it. And it doesn't help that I'm so overcome by emotion that I forget to move the button for a bit. So the song comes out a bit coarse, uneven, a little rough around the edges. But it's played with love, just the way I always meant it to be. As the song goes on, I keep glancing back at how he's to focus on the orchestra to notice for. As always, I found myself captivated by his intensity. It's only when the button almost slipped through my fingers that I tear my eyes away and remember to breathe. This whole arrangement must have been Hao's idea. After all, he was the only one who knew my song. Through my father's videos, Hao knew me and my music even before we met. And after we finally did meet, Hao's grown to know me better than anyone else. That's not to say that we don't still get on each other's new nerves, that we don't have our share of misunderstandings, or that we don't fight, or that we don't fight a lot. But in the end, I think meeting Hao was one of the best things that ever happened to me. If I hadn't met Hao, there would be so many things I never would have learned. So many things I never would have believed could change. Things about music, my father, myself. Now my life has become so different that I can't imagine Hao not being in it. Arguing all night long, fighting in the rain, hoping the language barrier, leading a crazy conduction session, becoming musical legends even. I don't care what we are doing, as long as it's him and me, together. I really am bad at this whole feeling thing, else I would have said this a long time ago. I like that stubborn idiot. I really like him. I've just been too much of a stubborn idiot myself to do anything about it. As the song draws to a close, I realized that I forgot to move my button again. It won't help at this point for my eyes are so blurry that I can barely see the ensemble. Once drops of water start hitting the podium, I'm forced to admit that I'm crying. Applause fills the concert hall, and I can see the vague forms of the orchestra members standing for a bow. Hao turns towards me, crying out in surprise when he sees my face. I don't think twice about it, even though I should have. Before he can ask if I'm alright, I put him down by the tie and kiss him. The concert hall goes as quiet as a morgue. The only sound is the clatter of the button I drop onto the floor. As I back away, I can see Hao staring speechlessly at me. He opens his mouth and closes it, starts to shake his head, then stops. It's clear he has absolutely no idea what to do. I don't either. So I take a deep breath, pick up the baton and carefully place it back on the podium. Then I throw back my head and start laughing. That was worth it, just to see the looks on our faces. Hilarious! No one is laughing besides me, but I don't stop. Even the harsh, dissonant sound of my laughter is better than silence. Sherjoso. Thanks for the laugh, I needed it. Without even bothering to take my bow, I sauntered above the stage. Right. By next morning our concert is on the front page of the arts and entertainment section. Though I guess I should be grateful for the free publicity, I'm not exactly thrilled. For one, the photo they choose is quarter-page close-up of me kissing Hao. For two, they spend more of the article speculating on our relationship than talking about our music. Guess Idle Gossip says more than actual reviews, or else they thought it'd fit better with the Valentine's Day stem, whatever. At least, the rest of the orchestra is talk we made the paper, or so they say when they call me a little before noon, inviting me to an impromptu going away party for Hao at the dim sum restaurant. I tell them that I have other plans for lunch, then I sit in my apartment eating instant ramen for the next hour. Hao calls me too. He's been calling me since last night. I set his ringtone to silent after a while and go back to sleep. I don't wake up until late afternoon, when I certain everyone is on their way to the airport to see Hao off. Then, and only then, do I head back to the practice hall. As I knew it would be, the practice room is deserted. After gathering everything I'd left before the concert, I sit down at Hao's old desk, running my fingers absent-mindedly along the wood. If I close my eyes, I can still imagine Hao sitting beside me, hunched over another pile of scores. Now that everything is neat and empty, it doesn't feel like Hao's desk at all. Which I guess is the point. Hao is gone, and so is any last trace he was ever here. Well, except for two. Hao's twin picture frames are still hanging from the conductor's podium. Whether that's because Hao couldn't be bothered to come back for them, or he genuinely forgot, I'm not sure. While I doubt he'd leave my father's picture behind, he probably couldn't wait to get rid of mine after the concert. I should have apologized for laughing at him. I've ignored him, yelled at him, fought with him, but I've never laughed at him before. Never told him he was just a joke. But even if I had been serious, nothing good would have come out of that either. Even if I had admitted my feelings earlier, even if Hao had actually turned them, instead of just gaping at me in wordless horror, there would have been nothing we could have done about it. Now that I've screwed up everything between us, the only thing I want to do is to make a clean break. It's better that way, for both of us. I repeat those words to myself over and over again, until I almost believe them. How will go back to his life in China? I'll go back to being my usual slacker self. A tempo. That's how things should be. Things should return to normal. I should act like the last 2 months before never ever existed. Sighing, I walk over to the conductor's podium and pull down the picture of Hao. Then I walk back and toss them into the trash bin by the desk. The pictures don't go in though. They only hit the overflowing trash pile and bounce onto the floor. Get in the trash where you belong. Kneeling, I pick up the pictures and start shoving them back in. What's already in the trash, however, stops me short. The trash bin is full of reams and reams of paper, all of which are covered in Hao's meticulous handwriting. Most of the sheets are marred by crossouts and revisions in red pen. Some are scribbled out entirely. What surprised me the most, however, is that everything has been painstakingly written and rewritten in English until every word is perfect. Once I started reading the papers more closely, I realized that there are different drafts of a speech that Hao was writing for me. A lot of the drafts are angry or scolding, which is what I would have expected from Hao. Why do you not answer your phone all day? Even if you are mad, you should talk to me. Your behavior is irresponsible. Your stubbornness is irritating. But even more of the speeches are remorseful, as if Hao tried to think of every possible reason I might be avoiding him and apologize for them all. I am sorry for carelessly injuring myself and not conducting properly. Sorry for performing your song without permission and not doing a better job. For bothering you by calling during that night. For my poor English, my poor understanding. For not finding your joke funny during the concert. I'm sorry that I did not laugh. I'm sorry I did not understand the joke at all. A few are more direct. I even find one that's only a single line, which I can barely read behind the pen marks crossing it out. I didn't laugh because I wanted that kiss to be real. That's when I realized some of the speeches are confessions. I've liked you ever since you drew me that picture. I've liked you even before we met, when your father showed me your song and I begged him to show me more. I should have kissed you back. I should have kissed you first. Please come to China with me. I will stay in America with you. He goes back and forth in different drafts, striking out lines here and adding them back there, tearing out bits and tapping them back on, crumpling some sheets into wads and smoothing out others, despite all their wrinkles. I have no idea what he ultimately decided to say, if anything. As I check the trash can for more drafts, I find a much smaller slip of paper at the bottom. It's a receipt from a well-known music shop. One electric bass guitar. Wow, it's pricey too, but who in this orchestra would buy something like that? I know the answer as soon as I glance over the piano. There's a large black case on the bench that I hadn't noticed before. When I open it, my breath catches in my throat. This guitar. It's exactly the same model as my old one. I run my fingers disbelievingly over the guitar's smooth surface. Lying on top is a single sheet of paper covered with Hao's neat handwriting. There are no crossouts or wrinkles this time. I pick it up with trembling hands. Sona. I used to think I only need music and work. I thought about making my music and making my teachers proud. When I met you, I was surprised you do not think the same as me. I was not surprised that we argue so much. You and I are very different. But I do not think that is bad. Because I met you, I was able to make friends in the orchestra. I was able to learn new things about many kinds of music. I was able to have feelings that I never had before. Sona, I do not know the words to say this right, but you are very special to me. No matter how you feel about me or the orchestra, please continue the music. Please never give up on music again. I think a life without music would be very sad. I do not want you to be sad. I want you to be happy doing what you love. Please, Sona, never give up on what you love. I'm vaguely aware that my face is getting wet again. My eyes blur as I rerun the last line in the paper line. Never give up on what you love. Taking a deep breath, I wipe my tears on the back of my hand. Then setting my jaw, I get to my feet. Okay, that's enough moping around. I've got a plane to catch. We have security breach in Terminal A. I repeat, all first. Report to Terminal A immediately. I shouldn't have known my piercings would set off the metal detector. Vaulting over another row of branches, I tear down the corridor at breakneck speed. Freeze! You are in major violation of airport protocol. Tell me something I don't know. Several people scream as I shove them into the incoming security guards. I just keep running, ignoring the pile-up behind me. When I called the other orchestra members, they told me Hao had already gone into the terminal an hour ago. There is no time left to waste. I can't let Hao leave this like this, not without apologizing and telling him the truth. Gate A2, Gate A2, where the heck is Gate A2? Why the heck didn't they put it at the very front? Fine, I'll call for flight 214 to Beijing. All passengers on flight 214 to Beijing, please report to Gate A immediately. There is it. Putting on one last burst of speed, I sprint for all I'm worth to the end of the hall. As I near the gate, I spot a man in a suit standing in line up to board. When I notice a black briefcase swinging from his left hand, I tell out to him. Oh, wait! I need to tell you something! The man starts to turn. I catch a glimpse of eyes behind glass widening his surprise. And that's the last thing I see before a security guard sticks a taser into my back. Ooh. You piece of shit, officer. To say that the airport authorities did not react well would be the understatement of the century. After I ran through the terminal, they totally panicked, locking down the airport and postponing all flights for the entire day. So yeah, I guess I theoretically could have still tracked down Hao before he left, if I hadn't been busy trying to convince an army of angry TSA officials that I wasn't at their status. Apparently, they always do it in the movies. It's not a believable excuse for breaching airport security. Go figure. I played dumb, hoping to get off with a warning and maybe a bit of stern finger waggling. While I ultimately didn't get any jail time, I was saddled with a hefty fine and an obscene amount of community service. Let's just say the streets downtown are really going to sparkle for the next year or so. It's alright, as long as I had to practice my new guitar and catch orchestra practices, I can deal. My orchestra actually finds the whole thing kind of funny. They started taping any newspaper articles about me and my criminal exploits to the Conductor's podium. They also keep nicknaming me dumb things like the kissing terrorist or Osama van Beethoven. So they shut up pretty quickly when I treated them with 6 hours of practice per day. As their new conductor, after all, my word is law. I think I might even make them play an arrangement that features me on electric bass one day. Oh, the possibilities. I do make up for it by treating them to dim sum for every successful concert, of course. And once we're good enough to play at the paying music academy, I'll take them all to see the Forbidden City and the Great Wall. So now that I'm probably on the no-fly list, it's not going to be easy getting to China, no matter how good my orchestra is. But I will find a way. If this is how I'm going to meet Hao again, and I'll make it happen no matter what. I've learned my lesson twice, after all, and they say that third time is a charm. So this time I'm not going to give up on what I love. This time I'm going after it with all I've got. For now I'm busy practicing my Chinese and working on what I'm going to say when I finally do see Hao. At least now I can empathize with how he probably felt trying to write his confession. I must have trashed dozens of my own terrible drafts so far. After repeatedly writing and rewriting and tearing out half my hair, I decided to just start simple. Maybe it will be cliché, but I don't want to overcomplicate my feelings. Just like music, they are something everyone should understand. Ti amo. Vous aimez. I love you. Okay, so how about a little Polish? Kocham cię. Ha ha ha. Koda 1. Con amor. Wow. Well, that definitely was a long session, but it was worth it. I can sleep on lectures, I don't care. After that, I really don't care. Great game, great story. Not to mention, my eyes got sweaty, sweat. Yeah, they sweat. My eyes sweat at some point, which is great. The last time it was on Narciso. However, on Narciso I was, well, unable to speak normally. But yeah. Amazing. Everyone that put effort in doing this game really have done an amazing job. Extras. Is something in extras? Okay, that's like a dictionary. Okay. Person completes in 70. Well, it's probably about endings. girl with guitar. Locked. Okay, not good. Art. Well, don't have two chapters. Oh. Interesting. Return. If I go with that. No, okay, it will start from beginning. I get it. So the other chapters probably appears with different choices. Well, we'll not find out on the here actually. I guess I will end this series. Amazing. I do loved it. If you want to see other endings, there is a link in the description, of course, under all the videos. And hopefully you enjoyed the whole game. And see you in the next one, after I get some sleep. Bye.